Annulled were the transient values of the mind. The body's sense renounced its earthly look. Immortal met immortal in their gaze. Awaked from the close spell of daily use that hides soul truth with the outward form's disguise, he saw through the familiar cherished limbs the great and unknown spirit born his child. An impromptu from the deeper sight within, thoughts rose in him that knew not their own scope. Then to those large and brooding depths, whence love regarded him across the straits of mind, he spoke in sentences from the unseen heights. For the hidden prompters of our speech sometimes can use the formulas of a moment's mood to weigh unconscious lips with words from fate. A casual passing phrase can change our life. O Spirit, traveler of eternity, who camest from the immortal spaces here, armed for the splendid hazard of thy life, to set thy conquering foot on chance and time, the moon, shut in her halo, dreams like thee. A mighty presence still defends thy frame. Perhaps the heavens guard thee for some great soul. Thy fate, thy work are kept somewhere afar. Thy spirit came not down a star alone. O living inscription of the beauty of love, missiled in aureate virginity, what message of heavenly strength and bliss in thee is written with the eternal sun-white script? One shall discover and greaten with it his life, to whom thou loosenest thy heart's jeweled strings. O rubies of silence, lips from which there stole low laughter, music of tranquility, star-lustrous eyes, awake in sweet large night, and limbs like fine linked poems made of gold, stanzaed to glimmering curves by artist gods. Depart where love and destiny call your charm. Venture through the deep world to find thy mate. For somewhere on the longing breast of earth, thy unknown lover waits for thee, the unknown. Thy soul has strength and needs no other guide than one who burns within thy bosom's powers. There shall draw near to meet thy approaching steps the second self for whom thy nature asks. He who shall walk until thy body's end, a close-bound traveller, pacing with thy pace, the lyrist of thy soul's most intimate chords, who shall give voice to what in thee is mute. Then shall you grow like vibrant kindred harps, one in the beats of difference and delight, responsive in divine and equal strains, discovering new notes of the eternal theme. One force shall be your mover and your guide. One light shall be around you and within. Hand in strong hand, confront heaven's question, life. Challenge the ordeal of the immense disguise. Ascend from nature to divinity's heights. Face the high gods crowned with felicity. Then meet a greater God, thyself beyond time. Which way are we reading? Yes, Rosa?
Unknowed were the transient values of the mind. The body's sense renounced its earthly look. Immortal met, immortal in their gaze.
So this is describing King Aswapati's response to this wonderful vision of Savitri that he has. So the transient, the passing values of mind were just wiped out, annulled. And the senses, the physical way of seeing her was renounced. The body's sense renounced its earthly look. It didn't see her surface as our eyes see. Instead, the immortal in him looked at the immortal in her, and the immortal in her looked back at him. They are looking at each other, soul to soul. Immortal met immortal in their gaze. Aswapati and Savitri.
Awake from the close spell of daily use that hides soul too with the outward form's disguise. He saw through the familiar cherished limbs the great and unknown spirit born his child.
So he gets woken up from that magic spell of daily use. You see a person every day and you don't really see them as they really are. They become so familiar to you that you don't really look deeply at them, no? But he gets woken up from that spell, that enchantment that hides soul truth with this disguise of the outward form. We only see the outward form, but that's a disguise, a mask. We don't see through to the soul's truth that is inhabiting the form. But he's woken up from that spell, and so he sees through these familiar, cherished limbs, this normal appearance of Savitri, which he sees every day. He cherishes her, he loves her, but it's so familiar. He's woken up from that. He sees through that familiar physical appearance the great and unknown spirit who has been born as his child. When Mother was reading these passages with Huta, at this point she said to Huta, how could he forget? You know, he had made that great journey and done all those things and seen the Supreme Divine Mother and received the boon, and then the child was born. How could he forget for a minute who she was? You know? But that's that close spell of daily use. So, but now he sees that great and unknown spirit born, his child. Martin.
And awoke too from this deeper side within. Thoughts rose in him that knew not their own scope.
An impromptu is something that comes up apparently unprompted. No, it's something spontaneous that comes up. It's used for a particular form in music, which was supposedly not composed. The pianist or the violinist just started to play, and the inspiration came by itself, some spontaneous expression. So here, this is spontaneously emerging from the deeper sight within. These thoughts rose up in him that knew not their own scope. They were not aware of the significance and import of their own thinking. He's going to develop that idea a little further on. Gumsun?
Then, to those rosy and brooding depths, fancy love, regarded him across the straits of mind. He spoke in sentences from the unseen heights.
So he speaks to those depths that he sees in Savitri, those large and brooding depths, these depths which are going to bring forth something, which are going to give birth to something. These depths from where, this word whence, meaning from where. So those depths from which or from where love is looking at him. The love from Savitri's depths is looking at him, regarded him. We find often in Savitri that Aurobindo uses this verb in its French sense of looked at. Yeah. Across the straits of mind. Strait is a little narrow stretch of water. So it's as if mind is some kind of a stretch of sea separating his depths from her depths, but they can see each other across that dividing line of mind. So, prompted by that deeper sight within, he spoke in sentences that came from the unseen heights, the higher levels of consciousness. Ganga Lakshmi.
For the idle prompters of our speech sometimes can use the formulas half a moment's mood to wake unconscious lips with words from fate. A causal passing phrase can change our life.
Thank you. So there are people or beings prompting, spirits prompting our speech, causing us to say what we say. And sometimes those hidden prompters. Actually, a prompter is in the theatre, no? A souffleur. Is it called a souffleur? Or siffleur? Souffleur? The one who is there to remind the actors if they forget what they're supposed to say. So those hidden prompters, they are there and they prompt us, they suggest to us things to say. Sometimes they can use the formulas, the expressions of a mood of the moment, just a passing mood, no? To weigh, to give some burden, some load to our unconscious lips. The lips are just speaking those words they've been prompted to say, but the words that come out are burdened, very significant words coming from fate, expressive of destiny. It can happen that just a casual passing phrase that somebody has spoken without much thought can be so significant that it changes our whole lives. So a casual passing phrase can change our life. But what Asvapati says to Savitri is not exactly a casual passing phrase. He may not have realized the full significance of what he was saying when he was saying it, but still it is quite significant what he says. You'll read, Tatiana.
O Spirit, traveler of eternity, who came from the immortal spaces here, armed for the splendid hazard of thy life, to set thy conquering foot on chance and time. The moon shot in her hollow dreams like thee.
Yes. So he's addressing Savitri's spirit. He says, you are a traveler of eternity, and you've come here into this material world from the immortal spaces, and you've come armed. You have strength and weapons and protection with you. You are armed for the splendid hazard of thy life. A hazard is a dangerous adventure. And you've come with the mission to conquer chance and time, to set thy conquering foot. You know, when you've conquered your enemy, you throw him to the ground and put your foot on him to show that you've triumphed. You know? He says, you have come like that. But the moon shut in her halo. Sometimes we cannot see the moon clearly. We can only see a kind of cloud or mist that is around the moon. It's very beautiful, but we're not seeing the moon as it really is. So he says, you are like that. You're surrounded by this mist of beauty, of beautiful appearance, but you are still hidden. Joel.
Almighty presence, still defend thy frame. Perhaps the heavens guard thee for some great soul. Thy fate, thy work are kept somewhere afar. Thy spirit came not down, a star alone.
Thank you. So there's some great presence still protecting thy frame, your physical form, defending, keeping things at a distance. Perhaps the heavens, the gods are protecting you, keeping you specially for some great soul. And your fate and your work are kept hidden somewhere far away. Thy spirit came not down, a star alone. We can think of the soul coming down like a falling star. He says, you've not come alone. A companion star has come down with you at the same time, who is meant to be your life's partner. Emily?
O living inscription of the beauty of love, missolved in aureate virginity, what message of heavenly strength and bliss in thee is written with the eternal sun-white script? One shall discover and greaten with it his life, to whom thou loosenest thy heart's jewelled strings.
Yes. We're familiar with this form of thy and thee. No? I've explained it before, everybody's clear about it, that this is the second person singular. When Aurobindo is showing somebody speaking to more than one person, then he'll use the plural form you. No? Like the voice that says, how long will you tread the circling tracks of mind? That is the whole of humanity. So nowadays in ordinary speech, we don't use this singular form of thee, thou, thine. But in poetry sometimes it's very useful, and in prayers we address the Lord perhaps as thou. So he says to her, you are a living inscription of the beauty of love. Something has been written there, an inscription, something that's written. And here he says it's written in a missal. A missal is a holy book. It's the book that we take to Mass with us if we are Catholic Christians. There in the book all the prayers and the scripture for the day and these kind of things are kept in this missal. So it's like what she's bringing is written, but the book is closed up like a missal. And these missals often have very, very beautiful ornate covers, perhaps with white leather and gold writing and maybe even a golden clasp or something like that. So he says in aureate virginity. We had this word aureate last week, meaning golden. And this is golden virginity. She's still absolutely pure. The missal hasn't been opened. So So whatever message is inscribed there, what message of heavenly strength and bliss is written in you, written with the eternal sun-white script. On the pages of that missal, when they're open, there will be wonderful writing. Someone will discover that message, and it will greaten his life. It will give greater significance and value to his life. When you yourself loosen, untie the knot of your heart, the jeweled strings of your heart, when you open up that book, someone will be able to read that beautiful message that's written there. Shiva will read Mahaling. So, yeah.
O rubies of silence, lips from which they store low laughter, music of tranquility, star lustrous eyes awake in sweet large night, and limbs like fine lint poems made of gold, stanzas to glimmering curves by artist gods, depart where love and destiny order charm.
So he's pointing out some of her features, her lips, the rubies of silence. Rubies are red precious stones, but it's often applied to the lips of young, beautiful young women. Rubies of silence. Silence is one of the characteristics of Savitri, which is mentioned again and again. Strength and silence. But still, from those lips, low laughter has emerged. Music of tranquility. It's not loud, hilarious laughter, very soft, sweet laughter that expresses peace and delight. The lips and then the eyes, eyes that are shining like stars, lustrous, means shining. And those are awake in sweet, large night. I think again he's referring, as he did earlier, to the dark eyelashes. And then the limbs, the different parts of the body, the arms and the legs, they are like fine linked poems. Each one is like a poem, and those poems are linked together, these golden poems, and these have been linked together in stanzas, in verses, which make the beautiful curves, the glimmering curves, that light which shines with a soft glow. These have all been shaped by artist gods, divine artists. So he evokes all these beauties of hers, and he says, depart. Now you have to leave this home of yours and go out in the world to where love and destiny are calling your charm, all your beauty and your youthful delight. No? Now you have to go out. So this is a feature from the traditional legend, no? That because nobody came to ask for Savitri's hand in marriage, her father called her and told her, it's time that you must go and travel around the world and find the destined partner. Mahalingam.
Venture through the deep world to find thy mate, for somewhere on the longing breast of earth, the unknown lover waits for thee, the unknown.
So, venture, take your adventurous course through the deep world all around about to find that one, that destined one, who will be your life partner. Because somewhere on the longing breast of earth, the whole earth is longing for this meeting. It needs this meeting. Thy unknown lover, you don't know him yet, and he doesn't know you, but he's waiting for you, and you have to go and find him. Yes.
Thy unknown lover waits for the unknown. Thy soul has strength and needs no other lover. Then what who burns within thy awesome surprise?
He sends her off alone. He says, you don't need any other helper or guide, because your soul is strong enough. It doesn't need any other guide than that one who's burning, that Agni, that soul that is burning within the powers of your own heart, your bosom. It's this part of the body.
There shall draw near to meet thy approaching steps, the second self for whom thy nature asks. He who shall walk until the body's end, a close-bound traveler pacing with thy pace, thy glorious of thy soul's most intimate course, who shall give voice to what in thee is new.
So, somebody is going to come close. As you approach, he will also come close to you. This second self, the one who your nature is waiting for, asking for, it needs this complementary being. The one who shall walk until their bodies end through your whole life, a close-bound traveler, pacing with thy pace. So you'll walk side by side, step by step, in harmony. And then he says he will be the lyrist, the one who will play on you, on your heartstrings, or on this instrument, this beautiful musical instrument that you are, or that your soul is. He will be able to awaken the music that's there in your soul. He will give voice, he will give an expression to what is waiting, mute, silent there. It hasn't yet been expressed. This is, of course, quite a strong idea in Indian culture, that everybody has a destined mate, and that people are not normally meant to live alone, that the nature needs a partner, and so a beautiful young woman like that, her nature, she needs a husband.
But it's a real love story, when I read this.
Yes, it's a real love story.
That's so wonderful.
It's actually a kind of fairy story. If we just look at the story, it's something like that. Yeah. And we will see now in the rest of Book 5 what wonderful love poetry comes. Love poetry and nature poetry. Barbara, yes?
Then shall you grow like ripened kindreds among one with the wings of vigilance and delight, responsive and divine and equal strains, discovering new notes of the eternal theme.
So when he wakes up, the music that's waiting mute in you, then the two of you will grow like two lyres, like two harps, kindred, related harps in harmony. And You will be playing the same music, even though there will be difference and the delight of difference. You will be responding to each other in divine and equal strains. It's not that one will be more dominant than the other. You will be really partners in this music, discovering new notes of the eternal theme, the theme of love and togetherness. Say, Suresh, sorry.
One's thoughts shall be your mover and your guide. One light shall be around you and within. And in strong and conformed heaven's question light, changes the order of the immense
disguise. Yeah, thank you. So you will be two, but one force will be moving you, guiding you. One light will be around the two of you and within the two of you. And hand in strong hand, both of you have strong hands. Together you have to confront life, which is heaven's question to the soul. And you can challenge the ordeal, the test, the difficult, often painful test and ordeal of the immense disguise. This whole universe, this whole material universe is an immense disguise, a vast disguise of the one divine presence everywhere. Nargis, would you read the last sentence, please?
Ascend from nature to divinity's heights. Face the high God crowned with felicity. Then meet a greater God by century lifetime.
So this is something that a father might say to his daughter who's going to be married, no? In the traditional Indian culture, where the aim of life is to ascend, to rise from nature to the heights of divinity. And the first step is to face the high gods, the cosmic powers, to win bliss. But beyond that is a greater God, your own true self, which is beyond time and space, your eternal being. This has been the aim of Indian society and culture for as far back as we can see. And all our life here is just a preparation and a teaching for that high aim. So we've just reached the right line at the right time. Anybody has anything they want to ask? Anything we've missed? Then let's read these lines together. From line 158 on page 373. Annulled were the transient values of the mind. The body's sense renounced its earthly look. Immortal met immortal in their gaze. Awaked from the close spell of daily use that hides soul truth with the outward form's disguise. He saw through the familiar, cherished limbs the great and unknown spirit born his child. An impromptu from the deeper sight within, thoughts rose in him that knew not their own scope. Then to those large and brooding depths whence love regarded him across the straits of mind, he spoke in sentences from the unseen heights. For the hidden prompters of our speech sometimes can use the formulas of a moment's mood to weigh unconscious lips with words from fate. A casual passing phrase can change our life. O Spirit, traveller of eternity, who camest from the immortal spaces here, armed for the splendid hazard of thy life, to set thy conquering foot on chance and time. The moon shut in her halo dreams like thee. A mighty presence still defends thy frame. Perhaps the heavens guard thee for some great soul. Thy fate, thy work are kept somewhere afar. Thy spirit came not down a star alone. O living inscription of the beauty of love, missled in aureate virginity, what message of heavenly strength and bliss in thee is written with the eternal sun-white script? One shall discover and greaten with it his life, to whom thou loosenest thy heart's jewelled strings. O rubies of silence, lips from which there stole low laughter, music of tranquility, star-lustrous eyes awake in sweet large night, and limbs like fine-linked poems made of gold, stanzaed to glimmering curves by artist gods. Depart where love and destiny call your charm. Venture through the deep world to find thy mate. For somewhere on the longing breast of earth, thy unknown lover waits for thee, the unknown. Thy soul has strength and needs no other guide than one who burns within thy bosom's bowers. There shall draw near to meet thy approaching steps the second self for whom thy nature asks. he who shall walk until thy body's end, a close-bound traveller, pacing with thy pace, the lyrist of thy soul's most intimate chords, who shall give voice to what in thee is mute. Then shall you grow like vibrant kindred harps, one in the beats of difference and delight, responsive in divine and equal strains, discovering new notes of the eternal theme. One force shall be your mover and your guide, one light shall be around you and within. Hand in strong hand, confront heaven's question, life. Challenge the ordeal of the immense disguise. Ascend from nature to divinity's heights. Face the high gods, crowned with felicity. Then meet a greater God, thyself beyond time.